Hello everyone and welcome. We are gathering today for an in-depth comprehensive session on the high-impact SLT playbook. This presentation is brought to you by the CIOB Citywide District Office. We are here today to talk about the power of a well-run school leadership team. Why does this matter so much? Because a high-impact SLT is not just a compliance requirement or a monthly obligation that you simply have to get through to satisfy a chancellor's regulation. It is the engine that engages all stakeholders in meaningful and continuous school improvement. When we do this right, we move beyond simply checking boxes and filling out forms. We empower team members, including parents, teachers, and administrators, to work together on the critical tasks of planning, implementation, and progress monitoring. This collaboration transforms the school from a collection of individuals into a unified community working toward a shared vision. It is easy to get lost in the paperwork and the procedural details, but we must ensure that the effective action plans we create do not just sit in a binder on a shelf gathering dust. They must become part of school-wide practice and culture felt in every classroom and hallway. We must never forget why we do this work. It is not for the adults in the room. It is so we can improve outcomes for our students and help ensure academic achievement and success for every single child within your specific school communities. Your leadership directly impacts the quality of education our students receive and the environment in which they learn. The 3 pillars of a high-impact SLT. If you look at the most successful schools in our district, their SLTs all share the same architecture. They are built on 3 pillars. These pillars provide the stability and structure necessary for high-level functioning, preventing the team from collapsing under pressure. Pillar 1 is a solid foundation. You cannot build a house on sand. You must establish clear structures, roles, and norms to create a predictable and fair process. If your meetings feel chaotic, or if you leave feeling unsure of what happened, or who is responsible for what it is, usually because this foundation is cracked. Without this stability, even the best intentions will struggle to gain traction, and members will burn out quickly. Pillar 2 is a collaborative culture. This is about the skills that are actually the hardest to master. It requires mastering the arts of engagement, shared decision-making, and building true consensus. It is the shift from my opinion to our decision. It involves moving away from an adversarial mindset where constituents protect their own turf towards a collective mindset where everyone is solving the same problems together. This culture is the glue that holds the team together when decisions get difficult. Pillar 3 is a commitment to action. We love to talk, but SLTs must do. This pillar is about navigating conflict, productively breaking through gridlock, and ensuring decisions translate into real-world progress. A team that only discusses problems without implementing solutions loses credibility with the broader school community. This pillar ensures that our dialogue leads to tangible results for students. Let us look deeply at Pillar 1, beginning strong. Whether you are a new team just forming in September or a veteran team looking to reset mid-year, we recommend using the first meeting checklist. Item 1 is introductions. Do not rush this. You need to get to know each other beyond just names and titles. If a parent does not know a teacher's background, or a principal does not know a parent's specialized skills in finance, grant writing, or community organizing, you are leaving incredible resources on the table. Take the time to understand why each person chose to serve on the SLT. Ask them what their hopes are for the school year. This builds the human connection necessary for trust. Item 2 is create team norms. These are the rules for the meeting. We will discuss this more in a moment, but you need rules of engagement before the game starts. These norms protect the group when emotions run high and ensure that everyone understands the expected behaviors for respectful discourse. Without norms, personal attacks can derail professional conversations. Item 3 is review bylaws and agree on roles. Your bylaws are your referee. If you get into a dispute about procedure, membership, or voting rights, the bylaws decide the outcome. Review them now when things are calm, not later when you are arguing and tensions are high. Agreeing on rules early ensures that the labor is divided equitably so no single person carries the burden. Item 4 is set meeting dates and times. This is crucial for inclusivity and equity. You must base the schedule on the availability of parents first. If you hold meetings at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday when many parents are working, you are actively preventing equity and silencing a critical portion of your constituency. You are sending a message about whose voices matter. Item 5 is discuss consensus. You must define what agreement looks like for your team before you ever have to vote on a budget or a policy. Knowing the destination makes the journey of discussion much clearer. Does consensus mean 100% agreement, or does it mean everyone can live with the decision? Define this early. Item 6 is plan for conflict. It will happen. We are passionate people fighting for our children, so disagreement is natural and healthy. What is your resolution strategy? Deciding how you will handle a stalemate before you are in one is a sign of a mature team. Will you use a cooling off period? Will you bring in a facilitator? And item 7 is introduce the iPlan portal and the Comprehensive Education Plan, or CEP. Grounding the team in these documents from day one ensures everyone is looking at the same roadmap. The CEP should not be a surprise document introduced halfway through the year. Now let us talk about the logistics required before every meeting. There is a legal requirement called the 10-day rule. You must send and post the meeting notice 10 days prior. This is not just red tape, it is respect. It gives people time to plan their lives, arrange childcare, and shift work schedules so they can be there. It also ensures compliance with open meetings law. You must also prepare, post, and circulate the agenda and minutes early. If you hand out the agenda when people walk in the door, they are reading, not thinking. Sending materials in advance allows members to process the information, formulate questions, and come ready to contribute meaningfully. This changes the meeting from a presentation into a discussion. And please confirm attendance. Ensure you have constituent representation. You cannot make decisions about the school if the parents or the teachers are not there to represent their peers. A decision made in a vacuum is a decision that will lack support in the broader community. You need a quorum to conduct business, and you need diverse voices to make good choices. You should also check in with team members for updates and prepare necessary documents and data so you are not scrambling during the meeting. Efficiency respects everyone's volunteer time. If you need data on reading scores, have it ready before the meeting starts. Let us drill down into the specific tools of the trade, norms, and agendas. These are the nuts and bolts that hold the meeting together. First, establish your norms. What are they? They are a set of standards for working together that establish expectations around respect and participation. Examples might include start and end on time, or assume positive intent, or one mic, one voice. Why do they matter? Because they create a shared sense of responsibility for the meeting's success and tone. If the meeting goes off the rails, anyone, not just the chair, can point to the norms and say, hey, we agreed to start on time, or we agreed to listen without interrupting. This secures buy-in and commitment from all members to police their own culture. Second, master your agenda. What does it do? It provides structure, guides discussion, and keeps the team on track. It prevents the parking lot conversations from taking over the main event. Key features of a good agenda include focusing the discussion with specific start and end times for each item. Do not just list budget. List budget discussion 4 p.m. to 4:20 p.m. This helps the timekeeper enforce the flow. It also clearly lists actions and goals for the meeting so everyone knows what we are trying to achieve. Are we deciding on a vendor or just discussing options? The agenda should make that clear. And here is a vital note. The agenda for the next meeting should be created at the end of the current one. Do not leave the room without knowing what you are doing next month. This ensures continuity and keeps the momentum going between sessions. Define your roles. To make this work, you need to define your roles to empower every voice. Clearly defined roles as outlined in your bylaws are essential for structure and ownership. Without them, the work often falls unfairly on one person, usually the principal or the chair. Let us look at the key positions: chairperson, timekeeper, recording secretary, and facilitator. A critical point to remember is that the chairperson does not have to be the principal. This can be anyone on the team. In fact, having a parent chair or co-chair is a powerful way to incur ownership and demonstrate that this is a partnership, not a principal-led directive. It shifts the dynamic from a staff meeting to a community governance meeting. The facilitator's job is to ensure voice and facilitate discussion. Their job is to notice who is quiet and ask them, what do you think to keep the conversation inclusive? They are the traffic cop of the conversation, ensuring no single voice dominates. If one person has spoken 5 times and another has spoken 0 times, the facilitator steps in. The timekeeper helps keep the meeting on schedule. They respect everyone's time to ensure we get through the work. When they say 2 minutes left, it helps the group focus on wrapping up the point. This role prevents the meeting from dragging on and losing energy. The recording secretary provides documentation ensuring that our decisions live on past the meeting. Accurate minutes are the historical record of the school's leadership and are vital for transparency. They ensure that people who were not in the room know what happened. Now we move to Pillar 2, build a truly collaborative culture. The only way the team will be successful is if everyone is engaged. This is every member's responsibility. Passive attendance is not leadership. How do we do this? We prepare. We review documents like the CEP and come with questions. We do our homework so that meeting time is used for discussion, not reading. If you are reading the document for the first time during the meeting, you are slowing down the team. We listen actively. We pay attention, show interest, and do not interrupt. We listen to understand, not just to respond. We validate the speaker's perspective even if we disagree. We avoid sidebars. If you are whispering to your neighbor, you are fracturing the team. Maintain one conversation so everyone is included in the dialogue. Sidebars create cliques and erode trust. We solicit input. We actively make sure everyone has a chance to speak, especially those who might be processing information internally before speaking. Silence does not always mean agreement. We share your ideas. You have a responsibility to share your opinions and questions. Your perspective is the reason you were elected to this seat. If you hold back, your team misses out on your insight. We empathize and compromise. We try to understand other perspectives and are willing to give a little to get a little. Rigid thinking kills collaboration. We look for the third way that satisfies everyone's core needs. And finally, we support the decisions. We stand behind the choices the team makes together. Even if we advocated for option A, once the team decides on option B, we support option B outside the room. We present a united front to the school community. When we collaborate effectively, the goal is building consensus. But we need to be clear about what that means, because it is often misunderstood. Consensus is not voting. Voting creates winners and losers, which can divide a team. If 51% vote yes and 49% vote no, you have a divided school. It is not majority rules. We do not want a split where half the school is unhappy and feeling unheard. It is not one person deciding based on knowledge or authority. The principal does not simply overrule the team in a consensus model. Consensus is this definition. We all agree to support the decision we have come to as a team, even if I personally still have slight issues or do not 100% agree. It is the ability to say I can live with this and I will not undermine it. It represents a solution that everyone can accept. The core requirements for building consensus are respect for each other's experiences and opinions, a commitment to the work, practicing trust. We must consciously learn to trust each other and put shared values into practice. Trust is built in the small moments of listening and validating. And we must finalize decisions together as a team so there are no surprises in the parking lot afterwards. Let us look at the flowchart for consensus decision-making. This is a visual guide to the conversation. First, a member introduces a question, idea, or challenge. This is the spark. It could be a new curriculum idea or a budget issue. Second, the team discusses the issue with all constituents, parents, teachers, and administration sharing their perspectives. This is the information gathering phase where we put all the cards on the table. Third, someone puts forth a proposal or suggested solution. This moves us from talk to potential action. Then we enter the testing phase. We identify and discuss concerns. We do not just vote yes or no. We say, talk to us about your concerns. What is making it hard for you to say this will work? We dig into the why of the resistance. We ask the critical question, how does everyone feel about this proposal? If the answer is no or unsure, we do not force it. We repeat the loop and modify the proposal to address the specific concerns raised. We ask what would need to change for you to support this. If the answer is yes, consensus is achieved. We then discuss action points and next steps. There are special cases. A member may stand aside, which means they allow the group to proceed despite disagreement because they do not want to stop the progress. Or they may block, which is a hard stop signaling major conflict that violates a core value or safety issue. A block should be used rarely and taken very seriously. But what happens when you repeat the loop and you are still stuck? We enter Pillar 3, drive progress by navigating conflict. First, recognize that conflict is normal and to be expected. The goal is not to avoid it, but to handle it constructively. A team without conflict is often a team that isn't tackling the hard issues or is engaging in groupthink. Conflict often arises from common causes on an SLT. A simple difference of opinion on how to spend funds or prioritize goals. Miscommunication or misunderstanding of tone or intent. Someone does not feel they are being heard or taken seriously. A very common cause of conflict on SLTs is when parents feel that they are not being taken seriously because they are not educators. Administrators and teachers be mindful of this. Parents are experts on their children and bring a vital community perspective that the school staff may lack, or simply a lack of trust between team members or constituent groups that stems from past history. We must avoid destructive responses like domination, aggression power plays, or side deals that exclude parts of the team. These behaviors poison the well for future collaboration and destroy psychological safety. Here is your de-escalation toolkit. Focus on the problem, not the person. This is how you keep the heat on the issue, not the individual. Here is what you should do. Focus on the problem, not the personalities. Talk about the scheduling conflict, not Mr. Smith's stubbornness. Listen actively. Use clarifying questions like, "What do you mean by that?" and paraphrase and summarize to confirm understanding. So what I hear you saying is you are worried about the timeline. Signal interest. Lean in, nod, and maintain eye contact. Your body language speaks louder than your words. Communicate positively. Remain calm, use a respectful tone, and use I statements like, "I am having difficulty with," rather than accusing others with you always. Emphasize the we. Remind everyone you are in this together for the students. And be specific. Help people articulate exactly what they are thinking and feeling so you are not guessing. Here is what you should avoid. Taking things personally or making it personal. Getting defensive, and be patient when others do. Defensiveness shuts down listening and creates walls. Getting sidetracked from the core issue. Stay focused on the agenda item. Interrupting or talking over people. Being afraid to apologize if you have misspoken. An apology is a powerful reset button that restores relationships. Or being unwilling to compromise or move on. If you are truly stuck, here is how you break an impasse. Sometimes you need a specific strategy to get unstuck. Take a break. Step away for a few minutes to gain perspective. Let emotions cool down. A 5-minute water break can change the energy of the room and allow people to reset. Table the issue. Agree to move it to the next meeting's agenda. But if you do this, ask, what additional information, research, or data do we need to gather before then? Do not just delay it, prepare to solve it next time with better info. Analyze the impasse. Take turns explaining why the team is stuck. Hearing it from others can create new insights. I think we are stuck because we have different priorities regarding safety versus cost. Ask for solutions. Directly ask those in disagreement, what would you like to see happen next? Put the ball in their court to offer a path forward. Emphasize agreement. Step back and define what you do agree on, then build from there. We all agree we want the kids to be safe. Now let us talk about how. Ask for help. It is a sign of strength, not weakness. Reach out to the district leadership team, the family leadership coordinator, or the superintendent for mediation or guidance. They can provide a neutral third-party perspective. Finally, we must turn decisions into action. This is the final step. A meeting is only successful if you follow up, follow through, and take action. A great meeting with no follow-up is a failure. For the end of every meeting, you must plan for the next meeting. Ask what is needed and who will provide it so you are ready to go next month. Assign tasks. Ask if subgroups will meet or gather information. Break the big work into small chunks. Clarify ownership. Ask who is responsible for what. Make sure every action item has a name next to it. Accountability requires a specific person, not a general we. Draft the next agenda. Determine what will be followed up on and what new items will be introduced. And consider guests. Do you need to invite someone else to provide more context or expertise? Maybe you need the custodian for a safety issue or a literacy coach for a curriculum issue. You are not doing this alone. You have an SLT resource toolkit. Support is available. The iPlan portal is the official DOE platform for your school's CEP. Anyone can view the CEP as a member of the public, though. To edit or comment, you need to request access from the principal. Familiarize yourself with this site. The DOE SLT support site is found under Get Involved Families on the DOE website. It contains a wealth of official information, including Chancellor's Regulation A655, which governs SLTs. This is your rulebook. PTA Link is a fantastic nonprofit resource to help parent leaders. It offers comprehensive, easy-to-understand guides on SLT facts, roles, and responsibilities. It translates the legalese into plain English. We end where we started: the Comprehensive Education Plan, or CEP. This is the living document at the heart of your work. It is not just a compliance document. The CEP is the primary responsibility of the SLT. It sets the goals and priorities for the entire school year. It is a living document that should be discussed and monitored in some form at every SLT meeting. It should be dog-eared and marked up, not pristine in a folder. As a parent member, your most important role is to ask questions. How are our kids doing? How are we progressing on our goals? What do these metrics mean? These questions drive accountability and focus. Your commitment to this process, to building a strong foundation fostering collaboration and driving action, is a direct investment in the success of every student in your school. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your leadership. For more information or any questions, please contact us.